has changed a little bit, and we're going to talk about that. My name is on the screen. I'm the sales engineer for the Americas. My email and my Skype is also on the screen. You can send me an email or add me to Skype for any questions you guys have. And we're going to talk about the SMB and consumer. So everything that has to do with routers, extenders, access points, switches, I mean, you name it, everything with networking today. So Linksys is a company that is worldwide. We have a global operation right now covering pretty much everywhere. In Latam and in the Caribbean, we have 6 guys working for South America and 1 guy working for the Caribbean. And we're supporting Silmar with these webinars to give you guys a little bit more training of what we do and what we're planning on doing in the future as well. So Linksys used to be part of Cisco. It was bought in 2006 by Cisco. And in 2013, they went through a strategic sale of the Linksys brand to a company named Belkin. So Linksys is now part of Belkin since 2013. And we have introduced new products under the Belkin umbrella. I mean, we have right now a huge portfolio for consumer and a big portfolio for SMB, and we're trying to grow that area as well. So as you can see, Linksys can fit into the homes and also your businesses. So we're going to talk about what devices are designed for homes and which ones are designed for businesses. But everyone is working to solve a problem that we all have, which is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a big problem right now, and everyone needs to be connected. Everyone wants to have internet connection, and they want it to be fast and reliable. They don't want to have a slow connection. They want to have a connection that they can trust and that they don't have any problems with coverage. So that's what we are working to solve, and we're actually one of the name brands out there that has been able to give consistent results of the coverage and the performance that we have in our equipment. Linksys has over 100 million routers sold worldwide. So it's a lot of routers that we have sold, and this serves as a commitment to you guys, and also a way of saying thank you for the support. And for those of you that haven't bought Linksys, thank you for considering Linksys in your future projects. So nowadays, when we see the technology curve, we can see that there's different technologies, and they have been evolving during the past years. Back in 1999, a B-speed connection, Wi-Fi Wi-Fi technology on the B technology, it was a pretty fast internet. 11 megabits per second was fast back then, but nowadays, if you talk about 11 megabits per second is really slow. I mean, 11 megabits per second will hardly get you anywhere, download a song in a really long time, and as time has evolved, the technology has evolved as well. And nowadays, we're talking about AC technology with maybe MIMO, which is multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs, and then we can take advantage of this technology by having faster speeds, faster download sharing between internally in your network, and also faster internet speed everywhere in your house with all the devices connected at once. If you see which devices at home are, which technologies at home have evolved lately, we can see that the AC, it's 5%, roughly 5%, but most of the people nowadays are in the N technology or the G technology. That's because you haven't, or probably the customer, they haven't changed the router in the past 5-6 years. And that's why we have to train you guys and understand that the technology, as the technology is changing, your equipment has to change as well. If you look at how it's Wi-Fi positioned as a necessity in your house, you can see that Wi-Fi is pretty high up there. I mean, food is number 1, Wi-Fi is being number 2. So Wi-Fi is a big part of your household technology, and also you can see how everything else is under Wi-Fi, which we consider something that we need to our daily life. If we look at which devices or how many devices connect to the internet nowadays, we can see that most of the devices are most of the house are between 10, 15, 5 or 15 users per house. That means 5 between 5 and 15 peripherals connected at your house. This is because everyone in your house will most likely have telephone and maybe a tablet and a computer. So if you multiply the number of people that lives in a house times 3 or 4, that will give you the numbers that we're talking about, between 5 and 15 devices. Also, when you look at which devices are connected to your network, you can see that TVs is the #1 device that's connected to your network. Then after that is gaming consoles and streaming, audio streaming, and then everything else falls under that. The technology curve nowadays is increasing. We estimate that by 2019, there will be more than 10 million peripherals connected to a wireless network. Nowadays, you can see that Apple is releasing new products that is connecting to the Wi-Fi. Home automation is big nowadays. Everything that has to do with the IoT, the Internet of Things, everything is going to be connected to the Wi-Fi. And as the devices keep increasing, the Wi-Fi has to keep getting better. And that's where we see that by 2019, we're going to have a big increase in devices connected to your house, and your house or your business has to be ready for that many devices connected to it. This picture will pretty much summarize what we have been talking about. It's showing you that pretty much everyone has something connected to the Wi-Fi nowadays at home. And the center of that connection is going to be your router. So most of us guys, we haven't probably updated our router in the past 5-6 years, and that's really bad. I mean, a router that has been in your home for the past 5-6 years is probably running on a technology that is really slow, or an end technology, and every single device that you bought lately, it's on a higher technology and will be able to connect at faster speeds if you had a better router. So when we look at Linksys at the portfolio that we have in the router section, which is the consumer line, we have many different devices. We have routers starting from the E900 all the way to the EA4500. Those are our basic or intro line. That line is the cheapest that we have. It's single band and dual band. You can see that the speeds increase as the part number increases as well. Obviously, the price increases as well. But the benefits of having a dual band radio are multiple. I mean, dual band radios will be able to give you more speed, give you more coverage as well. Will also speed up the network inside your house. It's going to free up the 2.4 frequency, and it's going to give you more bandwidth on the 5.0 frequency. Also, you can do services like DNLA to be able to share videos or pictures through your network. And also, we'll have Gigabit ports and USB ports to be able to have your own private cloud if you want. Then if we go to the middle section, we have routers from the EA6100 all the way to the WRT 1900. As you can see, these routers are more robust. They have better speeds. They can handle better bandwidth. We go all the way from 1,200 megabits per second to 1.9 gigabits per second. So when we're talking about 1.9 gigabits per second, it's a really fast router that can be able to handle all the throughput that you have inside. Also, these routers on the right will include the USB connection as well as a eSATA connection to be able to connect a volume or a hard drive to be able to share files on your network. And they can handle more devices at the same time. So a router is very important, and it should be able to handle at least the minimum number of devices that you have in your house every single day. So if you have 10 equipment, 10 peripherals connected to your router every day, you should have a router that should be able to handle those 10 connections without any problems. Okay. Then when we switch to the higher lines, we have routers such as the WRT. The WRT has been a router that has been in business. In business for the past 13 years actually, with the one on the left-hand side, the WRT54GL. This is a router that I still go to some houses or some businesses, and they still have this router. It's a router that is very, very robust. It has been performing very well for the past 13 years, but unfortunately we had to discontinue it due to the production. And then we released new routers, the WRT1200 and the WRT1900. These two newer routers are able to handle more throughput, faster network connections, and you can see the difference in the processor speed from 200 megahertz per second to 1.3 gigahertz per second and 1.6 gigahertz per second. You can also see that the memory in the router is much better. We have 128 megs on the 1200, and we have 128 megs on the 1900 as well. So this line is a line that is being used lately for gamers. As the gaming industry keeps increasing, the demand for this type of routers keeps increasing as well. This router is open source, where you can install any firmware that you download from a website such as Silmar WRT or Killer Zone or something like that, to be able to speed up the router and make it a router made for gaming. When we see at what is coming next, you can see this one, the WRT 3200 ACM. This is a router that is going to come in next month. It's going to be able to handle 3.2 gigabits per second speed. It's going to have a higher processor speed, 1.8 gigahertz per second, and it's also going to have up to 1 gigabit of memory RAM. So it's a very, very fast router. It's also multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs, and it has a technology that we're going to talk about it now. But when you compare about this router versus the one that we have right now, which is a WRT 1900, this router, it's very fast. We have a 1.8 gigahertz per second processor. The bands, it has a bigger band, so we can handle more throughput, and also it has the same connections, the eSATA, the USB connections, so to be able to connect printers and also connect drives to do backup and storage. When you compare this router against the competition, we are talking about Netgear and Asus. You can see that this router it's much better. It's the processor is higher. The speeds that it handles per band are higher as well. The channel width is also higher than the Asus. And the difference that we have is that we have a technology called DFS, and we're going to talk about that technology, which is something that our competition doesn't have. And DFS is very, very important when you're talking about the 5.0 frequency that we're going to talk about right now. So, what is TriStream? This new router that is coming in October is going to be able to handle channel width of 160 megahertz per second versus the ones that we find in the market nowadays that are only 80 megahertz per second. This increase went up by 2, so we'll multiply the bandwidth, the width of the channel by 2, and it's going to be able to deliver faster connections, and it's going to be able to handle more throughput internally in your network. So it's going to free up all those devices that are connected in the 5.0, and you're going to be able to connect more devices and more speed at once. I have forgotten that I have right next to me here one router that we have. Oops, I have the WRT right next to me, and as you can see, it's a pretty big router. I mean, this is my hand, and it's pretty big, and it's also heavy. It's made with really good materials. The plastic is really thick. It comes with the standard antennas. There are these ones, 4 decibels. So 4 DIBs, and then we have 7 DIB antennas, which are bigger. In the back, you can see that you have the internet connection right here, right? And then you have your LAN ports, and you have your eSATA port here, and the USB port right next to it, right? It's pretty well made. The colors, they are to resemble the old WRT 5400, which is our flagship router back then. And this one is our flagship router nowadays. All right, so we're going to talk about the DFS technology. DFS technology stands for Dynamic Frequency Shifting. So dynamic frequency shifting is very important when you have 5.0 band. The 5.0 band, it's a frequency that is available for higher speeds, and it's also interferes with many devices out there. So when you talk about dynamic frequency shifting, it's a technology that is in the router and is always testing the environment and making sure that there is no congestions in the band that you're using or the frequency that you're using. So we compare it against an HOV lane. So whenever the highway is very congested, we switch to a highway, to a lane on the highway that is free, and we can have more more speed. DFS also, in our brand, it has a dedicated antenna. So with this dedicated antenna, we will be able to listen to the DFS noise on one antenna and then broadcast in a different 5.0 frequency versus the competition that they use the same antennas to test the environment. So this will reduce the speed on the equipment. All right, so now we're going to talk about MuMaimo. I know that the 3200 that we just talked about has MuMaimo. It's the first open source router with MuMaimo, which stands for multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. When you talk about MuMaimo or MuMaimo, what it gives you is a faster speed, faster connections for everyone at your house. If you compare the two technologies, the one on the left-hand side is a traditional router that it doesn't have MuMaimo, it's single MIMO, single multiple users, single multiple outputs. And the one on the right-hand side is the multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. What this gives you is three different channels of connection to the same equipment. So as you can see, the equipment on the left has to finish the transaction with the first equipment to start the transaction with the next equipment. With a device that has multiple users, what you can do is communicate with them at the same time. So you don't have any down speed or any problems with the connection because the line is congested or being used by someone else. Also, a way of explaining this will be a highway. You can see the one on the right-hand side. It's a router without multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. You compare it against a staircase when you have someone in front of you that is very, very slow or old technology. You won't be able to keep going up unless the device finishes going up the stairs. And then when you see the device on the left-hand side, it's faster equipment with multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs, where you have different lanes to be able to connect at different speeds. So this video is going to explain a little bit more how multiple users, multiple inputs and outputs work. Okay, so that video explained to you a little bit more how our multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs work. So in that same lane, we have the same different portfolio. We have a portfolio that is also very, very big. We have the EA7500, which is a 1.4 dual-core router. This one is a multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs, with up to 1.9 gigabits per second speed. So it's 1900 megabits per second. Then we go against the 8500, that is 2.5 gigabits per second throughput. And then we have the bigger one, which is a 5.4 gigabits per second router. This one is the biggest router that we have nowadays. We're coming up with a new one later on. But this router can handle 5.4 gigabits per second. It's a tri-band 4x4, and it has 8 LAN connections in the back. All right? So to see the whole line here, we have the EA7500, the EA8500, and the EA9500. You can compare the three routers. They are all multiple input, multiple outputs. Multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. And you can see that the bandwidth increases radically. I mean, 1.9, 2.6, and 5.4. So these routers are ideal for streaming high resolutions and watching a lot of videos, downloading a lot of music, to be able to have a fast internal connection inside your house. Also, we have this USB device that it connects to your computer and makes your computer be able to have multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. So why using MuMaimo router? MuMaimo router is perfect for 4K applications where you have 4K TVs or when you have HD connections, because 4K TVs, they consume a lot of bandwidth, and you have to have that bandwidth available to be able to connect more than one TV. So this is a demonstration where we had one router powering up all these TVs. We had 23 TVs connected to one router, and that router was able to handle all the throughput that these TVs were buffering at the same time. Okay, let's see, we have a video here. All right, so now we're going to switch to the range extenders. Range extenders is something that complements the consumer line, because range extenders, they look something like this. If you're looking at my screen, we have a range extender. It's a device that connects to your network, to your existing house, via this connection to the electric plug here, right? And this one is the 6700, and this one has this technology that it doesn't block the connection. So you still have, you're able to connect a lamp or anything you want to connect here on top of it. It has two antennas, right, that you can move and point them everywhere you want. And it also serves as a client node. So you can convert from wireless connections to wired connections here. And this one right here is a 3.5 millimeter connection. This connection will be able to connect headphones or speakers to be able to broadcast music from your phones, from your computers, without the need to have anything connected to the computer. So it's going to be wireless broadcasting of your music, or from your mobile device or from your computer. So if you're looking at the presentation at the screen here, we have different models. We have the RE3000, we have the 4100, the 63, 64, and the 67. And there is one more, which is the 7000, that is not there, but it's a multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. As you can see, the technology changes. The speed changes from 300 megabits per second to an AC 1200, and the RE7000 is going to be an AC 1900 megabits per second. What I was talking about, the connection that you see on the bottom, this connection right here is able to connect the speakers or headphones, and you're able to broadcast music from your Apple device or your Android device, Windows Media Player, or iTunes through this port wirelessly anywhere in your house, so you don't have the limitation that Bluetooth has, which is 3 or 4, maybe 5 feet away from the Bluetooth source. The audio will start fading. We also have a technology called crossband, and crossband technology, it increases the speed up to 30%, because crossband will use dual bands on the range extender. So if you have a router that is dual bands, we are able to dedicate the 5.0 frequency for download and the 2.4 for upload. So you're going to have a 30% increase in speed on your equipment. All the range extenders have a technology called the spot finder technology. So spot finder technology, what it's going to do is going to help you with the positioning of this equipment. And we're going to see a video of how that works. I don't know if the screen, the video is showing. The video is not showing. I'll show you the videos at the end. Okay. So now we're going to switch to an SMB line, to the small business section. The SMB line, we have switches, VPN routers, access points, and other accessories. So in the SMB line is a line that is fairly new for us, but we're able to cover a lot of different applications, such as this one: the small offices, hotels, schools, warehouses, stores, different stores that it can need or will be able to use an access point or a switch. Why Linksys? Well, Linksys, as we talked before, is backed up by our 100 million routers shipped worldwide. We have a #1 brand recall in the industry. Everyone knows Linksys and in the consumer section. We have an ease of use, its installation is quiet, is quality built, reliable, very, very high performance, security, and very affordable. So we have a complete line of switches, access points, and VPN routers where we're going to talk now. So we're going to start with the switches. The switches basically will help you extend your network to be able to connect more laptops, more desktops, more printers, storage, or IP cameras, whatever you need, you can connect it to the switches. We have smart QoS, smart quality of service, that pretty much it just changes or adjusts the priority on the switch according to what the demand on those ports are. So we have levels of priority that we can change in the managed series, but all of our devices, they come with smart QoS, which is automatic quality of service. We also have PoE Plus in all of our switches. Is backwards compatible with the PoE, with regular PoE, but basically we can offer up to 30 watts per port in every single switch that we have on the SMB line. So we have double the power and be able to connect more stuff like access points, IP cameras that demand more power in your network. We also have advanced DHCP snooping and IP MAC binding functions, where we're going to be able to allow or deny sources to be able to connect to the switch. So the snooping will help you with DHCP, and MAC will help you with static routing. In our switch line, we have three different lines. We have the Linksys 100, the Linksys 300, and the Linksys 500 series. The difference between the lines is that the 100 series is an unmanaged line. It's a gigabit unmanaged, completely basic line. Then we have the 300 series that is a smart series where you can be able to control and look at the performance of the equipment via a website. And then we have the 500 series, which is a more robust managed switch. So in the 100 series, we have all these switches. We have switches with and without PoE. And in this series is the only series that we only have half of the ports have PoE, half don't have PoE. So as you can see here on the bottom, we have different models, and the ones that end with a P, they will have half of the model number PoEs. So it's a 108P will only have 4 PoE ports, 116P will only have 8 PoE ports, and the 24 will only have 12 PoE ports. This is only on the 100 series. So they come with smart QoS, it's plug-and-play deployment. There is no software requirements to be able to control or connect to these switches. When we jump to the 300 series, it's a smart series. The smart series will have more features on the configuration. You are going to be able to connect to our website, look at the voice over IP connections. We have a simple setup for voice over IP as well. We have a PoE Plus, and every single port on the switch has PoE. As you can see on the bottom where you have the model numbers, the ones that end on P, those will have 8 ports, 16 ports, and 24 ports PoE, and the PoE budget is on the bottom. Okay, we have advanced, we can also do VLANs on these smart switches. We can have multiple VLANs running on the switch. And then we go to the managed switch. A managed switch is used as a main let's say backbone of your network, and then you can have other switches on the edge or branching out from the managed switch. So this is what we're showing right now. We have two models. We have the 28 port with and without PoE. The 28 port will also come with the two SFP ports that are in our 300 series and the 500 series. We have the SFP ports, but on the managed switch we have a difference because the 52 port PoE switch will be able to handle up to 10 gigabits per second with an SFP plus module connected to it. These switches are managed switches. You're going to be able to configure those switches through the website or through the console if you're used to using console to make changes on the switch. On the SFP transceivers, we have different transceivers. We have single mode and multi-mode, different distances, 500 meters, 10 kilometers. We have the SFP as well, the SFP plus. Those are going to be able to handle up to 10 gigabits per second connections over fiber. We also have a PoE injector, which is a metal enclosure. We'll be able to handle 30 watts in the port. So it's going to be useful for access points, for IP cameras that need more than 15.4 PoE, which is the regular PoE. On the VPN routers, we have VPN routers. For those of you that don't know what a VPN is, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's simply a way of creating tunnels on the router. And these tunnels are going to serve as our method of connection between your network and networks from the outside. So you're going to be able to create reliable and secure tunnels in your network and be able to give access to clients or employees that are working remotely to be able to access the resources inside your network. So we have two models. We have the LRT 214 and the LRT 224. The difference between these two models are that they have a single or a dual connection. I actually have one router here. If you're looking at the screen here, I have one of them here in my hands. This one is a 224. So this 224 connection has, as you can see, two connections here for internet. This is going to be the number one. I'm going to show in the presentation as well, so you can see what I'm talking about. This one, let's see, where's my web? Okay. So this one is the 224 model, right? They look exactly the same on the outside. The difference is the connections that they have here. So you have this one that is a one connection, and as well as a DMC connection, and this one is a one. So it has two connections for two service providers. Let's say you're using here in the States, you use AT&T and Comcast. You can connect two of them at the same time. And what this is going to give you is going to give you more redundancy on your internet. So when you compare both routers on the screen, we are comparing the 214 and the 224. So they can handle up to 30,000 concurrent connections. We can have up to 55 tunnels, and there is no licenses fees. So the 224 is going to give you load balancing, failover, and sticky sessions, and it's going to be a router that is going to be able to handle all the load that you have inside a business, and we give you that failover function as well. Comparing the 224 and the 214 versus the competition, we are able to handle more throughput. We're able to do more connections at the same time, and we don't have any license fees for customers. So if you see here, most of the equipment out there that has VPN functions will need a license that is roughly $73 per license versus us that is free. We have multiple clients for the Mac, Windows, Android, iOS, and Linux operating systems. And we can do different connections, such as site to site. We can do clients to sites. We can do mobile devices to a site. We have security, reliable security, and firewall features on the router. We have a connection guarantee using the LRT 224 with double one connection. And basically, that's it for the routers. So these routers are useful in business environments where you have the needs of a really reliable connection, a router that is going to be able to be on the whole time. And whenever one internet fails, the other internet is going to kick in. Now we're going to talk about our access points. So our access points, we have actually 6 access points. You only see 5 in the presentation right now, but we have a 6th one that is out already. That is the 2600. So as you can see, there is different technologies, and they keep increasing left to right. We have the 300, the 600, the 1200. The 1750, the 1750 Pro, and now we have the 2600, multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. I'm going to show one of the access points here on the screen. We have this access point here, which is all of them look the same. They're the same size, you know. They are slick design. They come with in the box. They come with a template, so you can drill the holes using this template. So you use this template, you put it against the ceiling, you drill the holes using this template, and then you come to this base, right? And you put on the base, you put the screws on the base, and then you just snap this and twist, okay? The connections, they have the PoE connection. We have double connection in this equipment for link aggregation and be able to handle more throughput back to the head end. And then we have this adapter here connection to be able to power the equipment locally with any PoE if you don't have a PoE source. Okay, these devices they don't have DHCP, so these devices will need a router to be able to work. You will need a router to be able to give them DHCP. And you also have VLANs, so you can do VLANs on your network and be able to tag or segment your network in different using different VLANs. They also have a schedule, so you can have a different schedule, and we're going to talk about other features that they have as well. So on our access points, we have one technology that is called centralized management. Centralized management, it's something that our competition is using controllers or little computers to be able to control the management or centralize the management and be able to deploy a network with more than one access point, everything connected and everything being managed from a single location. So centralized management is very important because centralized management will be able to give you the ability to configure all the access points at the same time, give you those roaming capabilities, the roaming features that will be able to give you access in the first floor as well as in the second floor, and there just is going to be an easier deployment. With centralized management, you can handle up to 16 access points, and then you can have up to 4 redundant access points in your network. That way, if the master access point fails, one of the redundant access points or the slaves is going to take over and be able to manage your whole network. We have this feature called clustering. So in clustering, you can put the access points in a cluster, and then you can send the configuration to each cluster, and you can have different configuration per cluster. We can handle up to 16 access points, and we also have a cloud management feature where you can handle more access points and be able to configure them over the cloud. Okay. We also have WDS connections if you want to do a wireless bridge or wireless distribution system between 2 buildings. Now, keep in mind these access points are indoor use only. We're coming out with the outdoor access point later this year, or next year actually. We have advanced security and customization. Advanced security such as denying by MAC address, or we can also do something called snooping in the DHCP. We can do rate limitations. We can do roaming frequencies. I mean, we can do a bunch of different features, but the security and customization is going to give you the ability of creating a captive portal. If you guys are familiar with a captive portal, it's just a way of creating a portal where people that want to have internet in your network will have to put a username and a password to be able to connect to the internet. So the captive portal can be deployed in a big hotel or a restaurant where you want customers that come in to be able to connect to the internet, but they should be able to input some password or some type of credentials to be able to access the internet. So we have different models, the 300 and the 600. Those two are in the ENG technology. They handle speeds up to 300 and 600 megabits per second. They are MIMO 2x2 antennas. They have high power antennas, and they can cover between 300 and 500 square feet, depending on the noise that you have on the where you install the access points. Then we have the 1200 and the 1750. Those two access points, the difference is that they have higher. The 1700 has higher megabits per second, so it has more throughput, and it's also a 3x3. So it's a 3x3 MIMO. It will be able to handle more devices connected at the same time, and they also cover more area. So we're talking about up to 2,000 square footage on these access points with noise, and up to 3,000 without noise. Then we have the 1750 Pro. This one is the one that I was showing you guys. This one has the 2 connections in the back to do link aggregation to be able to handle more throughput back to the head end. It has a higher antennas, so it's going to be able to cover more. And we have seen coverage of up to 5,000 square feet on this access point. Internally, all the access points look the same. They have the antennas on the sides. They have either smaller antennas or bigger antennas, and they are just basically the same on the outside. Now this one is the new one, which is AC access point, 2.6 gigabits per second, 4x4, multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. This one is able to cover up to 6,000 square feet with no noise. It can handle IPv6, it can do clustering, it can do captive portal. But the main feature of this router is that it's multiple users, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. We also have a line of cable modems. So cable modems, we have 3 different cable modems. 2 of them are in the market right now. We have this one, which is the CM3008, which is a pretty small cable modem that is going to be able to handle speeds up to 250 megabits per second download speeds. And then we have this one, which is the CM3024. This one is 24 by 8 channels, and it is able to handle speeds of out to 1 gigabit per second download speed. So as you can see, we have different equipment. We can have 250, 1 gigabit per second download speed. They all have an Intel processor built inside. It's the first time that we have Intel processors in our equipment. So why selling Linksys versus the competition? Well, Linksys, as we talked before, it has a line of switches that they all have a PoE plus. We have better TCO than the competition. We have all the access points that have higher antennas that will be able to cover greater distances and more coverage, and also higher speeds with our access points. We have VPN routers that they don't require clients, so there is no licensing for the VPN clients. And we have a better warranty than the competition. We have customer support via chat or phone call, so you can call to these numbers and you can have any questions you might have. You can ask the tech support. They have it in every single city. For the Caribbean, I think they have 2. We have one in Costa Rica and we have one in Puerto Rico. For the warranty period, for the Caribbean, this is for the US. For the Caribbean, we have 2-year warranty, and we can extend that warranty up to 5 years if it's a project that you're working on. And then something very interesting that we have is that we have destruction in country. So the destruction in country, what it's going to do is that if you buy one of the equipments from Silmar and it breaks, you go through the RMA process with tech support, and then the tech support is going to give you an RMA number, and basically what you have to do is destroy the equipment in your country, and we will give a credit to Silmar, and Silmar will be able to buy a new equipment and send it to you, so you don't have to return the equipment to the States. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask the questions. I think Karen is asking for the questions in the chat, or you can send them to Silmar directly or to my email. If you have any questions, we are more than welcome to answer them now.
Great, awesome, Santiago. Thank you very much. Also, I just want to remind everybody, you have in the handout section the Linksys solution brochure. You can download it, you can check it. If you have any questions for that, you can also write at latam@silmarelectronics.com. And Santi, if you want to put the first slide where you have your email address and your Skype so everybody can see it, please.
Sure.
They're asking for your email, your information. Here is.
Yeah, that's my email. That's my Skype as well. You can add me. The best way of communicating with me will be an email because I can flag the email and I don't forget to answer the email.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I just want to give everybody like 1 minute if you want to type your questions. I don't receive questions yet, but if you want, we give you the chance right now. If not, there is no problem. You can write us. You can contact us at latam@silmarelectronics.com, or you can contact Santiago. Here is the information. You can see it on the screen. Let me see if we have any questions here. No, it looks like everybody is on it. Perfect,
Yes.
Santiago.
Everyone understood everything, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
All right, guys.
Tomorrow you're gonna receive email with the presentation and the video for this webinar, so you can have this like a backup if you want to check it again. Okay? Thank you, Santi.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Have a good day, everyone.